Hey guys, JCamman99 here, and it's once again time to talk about the Buffalo Bills. It's been a while since we've done a top 10 Buffalo Bills quarterbacks list. In fact, I've never done one on this channel. I did it on the Buffalo Bills Pregame Show channel, SK Lauer 21. But this time, since we've had a lot more quarterbacks added since 2012, I wanted to take another look at this list. I decided to do a democratically elected top 10 list. I went strictly from the Bills Mafia Facebook site, and I asked a bunch of poll questions, and I gathered the information, and I used that to make the top 10 list. So this is not my original thoughts, it's just the thoughts of the people who answered to the polls. So this is not me. I'll give you my list at the very end. It's going to differentiate from the group list. You know what? There's 162,000 people that are members of the Bills Mafia site, so granted, not all of them answered the polls, but I'll tell you, I think it's a good collaborative list, and I think it will echo the majority of what you are already thinking. If not, let me know your top 10 list. I'd love to hear it. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start from 1 and go to 10 because I think 1's kind of obvious. Number 1, Jim Kelly. Obviously, Jim Kelly. I don't even have to go any further than that. So let's move on to number 2, Josh Allen. All right. I guess after a year and a half, we know he's the second best quarterback in the history of all time for the Buffalo Bills. I don't agree with that. I will say that, you know what? He's the highest draft pick we've ever picked, 7th overall in terms of quarterbacks. And he does have the rushing record. He beat Tyrod pretty quickly in that. And he took us to the playoffs. A very good start to the career, and there's not that many quarterbacks that have taken us to the playoffs for the Buffalo Bills. There just hasn't been. So when you look at it through that very narrow scope, yeah, you know what? Maybe there could be an argument for second overall. But I think we still need to see a lot more in his career before we go that far. All right, so let's move on to number 3. Doug Flutie. Yeah, Doug Flutie. I actually agree with this one. I'll give you my ranking later, but he was, again, kind of only on the team for a few years, about 3 years exactly, actually. Took us to the playoffs in the 2 years that he was in the majority starter, and he went to the Pro Bowl once. He was a great quarterback. I loved Flutie when he was on the team. I recently bought a box of Flutie Flakes, and I think that's a good spot for him as third overall best quarterback. Number 4, Drew Bledsoe. I don't know if he should be the 4th best quarterback, but I will say this. Between 2002 and 2004, there was no doubt of who the starting quarterback was. Was anybody calling for Alex Van Pelt to start? Was anyone even calling for J.P. Losman after we drafted him? There may have been some of that talk, but it never came from me. Never even when Bledsoe wasn't doing that good, and at the beginning of the 2004 season, I was never once like, hey, let's put Losman in. That never went through my mind. Drew Bledsoe was a starting quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, and there was absolutely no challenge to that sentiment at all. Number 5, Jack Kemp. Yeah, Jack Kemp. I can't believe he's not higher on this list, to be honest. He won back-to-back AFL championships. He's the only quarterback that actually put the Bills in the championship category. Who knows what he would have done if he had played now, but I think you can't take away from what he did. We have championships thanks to Jack Kemp. He should be higher up on this list. Number 6, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Yay! Okay, I know that most of you know that I'm a Ryan Fitzpatrick fan. I love seeing him this high on the list. If you go to Pro Football Reference and you bring up the all-time passers of the Buffalo Bills, it goes Kelly, Ferguson, Kemp, and then it's Fitzpatrick. Now, in certain aspects, that makes sense, because how many other quarterbacks besides Fitzpatrick has lasted on the Bills for 4 or more seasons? Not that many. Fitzpatrick is one of those. And most of the time, he was the starter. I mean, obviously, the first couple of years was a little bit of back and forth, but for the most part, he was the locked-in starter. So it makes sense that he has the most passing numbers, not to mention Gailey's offense. But I would say he deserves to be up here in the top 10, because look at what he did with what he had. He had not the greatest of team. Now, some might argue that, oh, he had a line. Some might argue that he had the running backs. But he did not have that great of receivers, at least when he was the full-time starter. And he was able to do a lot with a little, and I think Fitzpatrick deserves a lot more credit for what we were able to do in that time. And I don't think we've had a smarter quarterback, and I know that's the cliche because he went to Harvard, but in terms of the intelligence and the huddle and everything, I think we've been lacking that the last few years, and quite honestly, I miss that from Fitzpatrick. And I like Fitzpatrick, so I'm happy with him being at number 6. Number 7, Joe Ferguson. Yeah, I'm surprised that he's down this low on the list. He has the most starts of any Bills quarterback. He doesn't have a winning record as a Bills quarterback, so I understand why that may have made him drop a little bit. But hey, I mean, he was a long-time starter for the Bills. He obviously kept coming back for some reason, so he definitely deserves to be in the top 10, and I think he should be higher, quite frankly. Number 8, speaking of Frank Reich. Honestly, guys, I wasn't really sure that he should be in the top 10. I know that sounds like, oh, how could you say that about Frank Reich? But quite honestly, he didn't play that many starts for us. He had some key moments for the Bills, obviously, in the playoffs and the comeback game and whatnot. But for the most part, he didn't really do that much. And when he left the Bills, he has a horrible record if you go look it up. So that was kind of surprised at that. I think in terms of the Bills quarterbacks passer ratings, he's only at like 17 or 16. His numbers are like very similar to Alex Van Pelt's. So I wasn't sure that he would even get here. So we only have 2 more left. So let's go and figure out who those are. And I think number 9 is very much deserving to be in the top 10. And I don't know if any of you are going to imagine it, but here it comes. Number 9, Tyrod Taylor. Yes, of course. Why wouldn't Tyrod Taylor be in the top 10? He made the Pro Bowl in 2015. He could have made the Pro Bowl in 2016. I think he technically was named to the Pro Bowl, but he couldn't go because of his own injury. And in 2017, he made the playoffs for the first time in nearly 20 years for the Bills. And that is a huge accomplishment. And how many other quarterbacks have tried and failed? But he was the one to get it done. Dalton got so much credit, but Tyrod was the quarterback. I don't understand why people don't realize that. Honestly, I'm so happy that Tyrod is on this list. And more importantly, I'm very happy that out of a big range of quarterbacks that the fans were able to pick Tyrod. Number 10, before I let you know what it is, it was very close between 2 players. And I'm going to tell you who number 11 was after I tell you who number 10 was. Because it was very, very close, and it could have easily been either one of these guys. So here we go. Number 10. Oh, before I give it away, any guesses? Last chance. Okay, here we go. Number 10. Daryl Lamonica. Yeah, he only played 4 games for the Bills in terms of starts, and he went 4-0, so he was undefeated. And then he had a really good career in Oakland. And I'll be honest, I was kind of surprised that that's how everybody voted. I did not see that coming, to be completely honest, but that's just the way it ended up being. And like I said, he came really close with somebody else in terms of the polls, so I'll tell you now who came in at 11th, just for the heck of it. Number 11 was Kyle Orton. Yeah, I thought Kyle Orton deserved to be on the list too. He was a winning quarterback. I believe he went only 7-5 to start, so when you look at it, it was just a little barely above 50%. But you can, for most Bills quarterbacks, unfortunately, not too many of them have that record. So why not? Why did he not make it? Well, that's because he didn't, quite frankly. He didn't, based on the polling, he just missed the cut. So that's why Kyle Orton was not there in the top 10. So those are the top 10s voted by the fans. I will quickly give you my list really quick. So here we go. If this was just me, it would have been as follows. Number 1, Jim Kelly. Number 2, Joe Ferguson. Number 3, Jack Kemp. Number 4, Doug Flutie. Number 5, Drew Bledsoe. Number 6, Tyrod Taylor. Number 7, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Number 8, Frank Reich. Number 9, Kyle Orton. And then number 10, Josh Allen. So there you go, guys. I even put Josh Allen in the top 10. So congratulations there. And I took Lamonica out because I just feel that he didn't nearly have enough starts on the team to really be in the top 10. But he was in the top 10 back in the 2012 list, and he made the top 10 list again. So I think that tells you that one way or another, he really is regarded as a top 10 quarterback in Bills history. If you take a look at the list from 2012, Losman, Van Pelt made the list, and those two were obviously taken out of that list and replaced with Tyrod Taylor and Josh Allen. So, and I think that's better. There you guys go. There's the top 10 best quarterbacks in Bills history. If you disagree with this list, tell me what you think. Did you at least agree with the top 10 choices, or did you think there should have been other players that were up in the top 10? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for tuning into this video, and as always, take care. I mean, Dalton got so much credit, but I'm sorry, but Dalton got so much credit, but I'm sorry, Fitzpatrick. Wow! Dalton got so much credit, but Tyrod was the quarterback. I don't understand why people don't realize that.